Well, the conflicts are between, as you just saw now in France, between those who, well, there's two big antagonisms. One is liberal democracy against a more authoritarian democracy. The other conflict is Europe against a nationalist perspective. Because in lots of countries, I'm sure even here, there are people who say, well, Europe is an external form of rule. Before we had the Russians, now we have Brussels. And there are others who think that you cannot have the kind of freedom and welfare we want in each individual country without Europe. Europe is the possibility of having a much larger integration within which people move more freely, within which production occurs in a more cooperative manner. So the two conflicts are democracy against authoritarianism and Europe against nationalism. Well, we see this in the USA because Donald Trump and his presidency represent both a nationalist perspective and an authoritarian one. I'm not saying that he is Viktor Orban or Recep Tayyip Erdogan, because in the United States it's very difficult to actually do those things. But his own tendencies are in that direction. I mean, he wants to cut off immigration into the United States. He wants to establish trade barriers. He wants to build a wall with Mexico. This is the nationalist side. And he attacks the institutions. That's the authoritarian side. So we have it too. But in the United States, our institutions are very strong, whereas in a new democracy here, there's greater vulnerability. Hungary is next door, right? And if it can happen there, in principle, even Slovakia, right, with Mečiar had a period when Slovakia could have gone in the same direction. Well, I work on constitutional development comparatively in different places, and I have initially started out on Central Europe, so German Democratic Republic, Czechoslovakia, then Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Poland, Hungary, and this was my topic then. But then I expanded, so I've worked on the Middle East, I've worked on Turkey, and I worked also on historical issues connected to constitutional politics. And I find that right now, when constitutionalism is under challenge, that it becomes, it's helpful that I and other people have tried to study these things. What makes constitutionalism stronger? What are the threats that it faces? And I think this is always a problem everywhere. No democracy is ever finished. Well, I mean, in terms of the global, I think it's very important to have also a global framework of rights. Whether the world can have a constitution, I have some doubts. But certainly Europe could have one, and this would be a big step. I mean, you think about Europe, even the 26, 27 countries represent the biggest market in the world. Certainly it could have a much more positive constitutional development. But you're right, Europe is still not the world, and the question how to extend these freedoms internationally is still a problem.